Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hi.
Sorry to keep you waiting. We had a little technical difficulties there, and I am now comfortably on my personal hotspot. So for whoever is watching, I am so thrilled to have with me today most of the cast from a 2002 production of a dance that we did multiple times over a couple of years called In the Blink of an Eye. This version is particularly exciting to me because I believe it was the premiere version which we performed at Gunston Theater 1. Okay. So I just want to just pass the dialogue around to various cast members, and if you have any memories of what that piece was like, we'd love to hear it, or I would love to hear it.
Yeah, I mean, I remember I was thinking earlier how the video came about from an experience that you had, and child sort of being in the street and, cars coming. And I just remember that really, it had a really strong impact on you. And that sort of, I think, brought that feeling to the piece. And it was really exciting to do also as a group. And, I'm trying to remember how that might've been early in me joining. And so it might've been one of the early pieces. And
yeah,
Jen, you and I joined at the same time, and I think it was one of the first things that we worked on. And I just remember before Jane described in rehearsal like what we were working towards, I was going to be the baby. I was waiting to find out what it meant to be the baby. And it turns out I was kind of representing the toddler that did get into traffic and made a miraculous had a miraculous moment where they did not get hurt, from Jane's real life story.
I definitely have some memories of Nicolle as the baby. Were you wearing yellow? I think you were wearing.
We called it Velveeta orange. It was like bright
yellow orange. I remember that, and I just remember you rolling on the ground in a really beautiful way, replicating a child. I have a vivid memory now of that. I don't remember a lot else. I do remember like the feeling of sort of the urgency, like Jen spoke of too. Mm-hmm. I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, Mac and Alex, do you remember anything about it?
I remember all these same things. I remember Nicolle being the baby. She was rolling and tumbling around and gambling in a very Nicolle way. It was a very good fit for roles, as I recall. And the rest of us, we would run around to this side, and then we'd run around to that side, and we just all flocked together. I think we were the traffic, so it was like a big game of Frogger, right? There was Nicolle rolling our way, and we'd run to one side and try not to step on her. And then I vaguely recollect carrying you in a very unbaby-like way, like broken in half over my shoulder or something, and we turned around and spun around and it was very exciting. But these are my vague recollections here. I'm just relieved that you weren't hurt, because I don't think that was a very comfortable way to be carried. It's not a very baby-like carry there.
Well, I'm going to tell you all, because I did, of course, do a cheat, and I had seen it recently, but you are all 100% correct. There is a lot of lifting, a lot of darting back and forth. I think I really wanted to do with this piece a lot of like sort of non-dance vocabulary, just more about the feeling. Although we did have, like Mac mentioned, the big sweeping group movements going against the solo. So I tell you what, why don't we just take a look at this piece and then we'll talk a little bit more. Anybody who's tuning in, please leave us your comments. We will be able to take a look at your comments and answer any questions or respond to any comments you may have after the piece is over. So I'm going to take us all out of this stream. You will see a blank screen just briefly, and then you will see immediately the video. So here we go. I stopped that. Just curious, Nicolle, did you see anything on your screen?
I did not.
Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring, I think when I earlier lost that internet connection, I think I lost that connection to the piece as well. Let me, why don't you guys chat a little bit, and I'm going to bring up that piece again, and we'll be able to see it in just a sec. So I'm going to take myself out of the piece, but you guys have a good conversation.
We'll lead the way.
Yeah.
What about you, Alex? Do you remember anything about the piece?
I remember it being really turny, and I was a little frightened of it.
Really turny?
Turny and fast, like.
Yeah. Quick weight shift, right? Really quick weight shift.
I'm pretty sure Nicolle was the baby. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I have a video of it that Jane gave me on CD, but I'm not in that version. So
No, you were in it. I wasn't in it.
Oh, right. I was in it. He wasn't in it. Okay.
Yeah, Alex and I, we share the same role, like we share the same screen. So.
Yeah.
Except for I'm pretty sure there is a version where you're both in it. The original? I think the original might have had it. You know, I will say we often, depending on where we were going and when we were going to different the cast would have to change a little bit.
Right.
Someone was gone. You figured out, okay, Alex isn't here. Who's going to do that part? And
Right.
We
Yeah.
did.
There's a good deal of that.
Yes, a good deal of that, right? Didn't we used to call Jane Franklin a dance a day? We would make new dances, or we would rework dances that we had already created for, like you said, for a new cast or a new performance setting. We did a lot of that. We had to have our sharpest brain.
Emily Cruz is on, and Jessica Marchant is on.
Hi guys.
Oh, hi guys.
You can't jump in. But it's nice to see you. Well, virtually.
Cool.
How can you tell they're on?
There's a comment section on the right, or at least on my computer.
Great.
Well, I think I finally have the video ready. I'm just going to make the screen a little bit bigger. And I'll take us all out of it, and it will be wonderful.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So thanks everybody for hanging in there with us. Okay. Yay. Bravo, dancers.
Yay!
Now I remember that closing embrace. I don't know who was
yeah.
hugging me, but I remember that. Was that you, Steph?
I think it was Jesse.
Jesse.
Jesse, thank you for hugging me, Jess.
I had forgotten how it ended. I couldn't remember.
Me too.
How it ended. And I didn't remember. There were so many nice moments of, I mean, there were some lifts, but there were nice moments of sort of gathering someone. It might not have been always, you know, that person, but just sort of that sort of makes you reminiscent feeling of a child.
Yeah, and you'll notice the high-tech video projection from the front of the stage. And it was probably running through a video camera at the time.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just really great. I'm just so glad that Jess was here, and she's throwing in some comments. Jessica says she remembers the embrace at the end. Colleen gives us some claps, and Emily is watching as well. So yeah, I hope everybody's connection was okay, by the way. How was it? How did it look to you? I mean, it's kind of a darkish video anyway, and it's old, but was
it was pixelated, but
it was pixelated?
It was a little choppy at the beginning and choppy at the end, but in the middle it smoothed out.
Yeah.
It's always something, you know. Anyway, that one,
especially nowadays.
Yes, it's on our vintage JFD page, and I have tried it running it both ways. I'm running it from Vimeo on demand, where it's sort of living, and then also running it as a separate file. And with knowing the internet is kind of acting up today, maybe that would have been a better choice. So maybe we'll have a redo on this one of these days. Who knows?
Well, I could see enough to be instantly like transported back there. It's amazing to, you know, what you said, 2002, Jane. So
yes,
19 years ago. Is that right?
No.
So, but you know, like, so I didn't have a lot of memories before watching it, but now I'm like, oh, I remember that phrase, and I remember that. I remember this lift.
As soon as Jesse hit the iconic like attitude side tilt moment, I was like, oh, that's from this. Like, I remember that, and there was just a few things that I kind of remembered in vocabulary that came back in my body.
Yes. And there were a lot of lifts in that piece. Some really cool partnering. I remember that one lift that Jen and I did. We carried Mac like all the way across. And I remember, like, Mac, you're heavier than you look, buddy.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
All that muscle, it's hard, yeah.
All muscle. You're all muscle.
But did you see Jessica? I completely forgot about this. She just picked me up in the air, turned me around, jumped me again.
Yes.
Jessica.
I think you jumped a little. You helped her on that one. You jumped.
And by the way, both Jessica and Emily say we all look the same.
Oh, that's very kind of you.
I'll take it.
Yeah. Stephanie, I remember too, there's that one lift where you sort of jumped around my waist.
Yes.
I'm in a squat.
At the beginning, right?
We held it for a long time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I remember you being like, oh, my quads.
But it was a nice moment, yeah.
It's amazing. I forgot about the beginning sort of tableau, like in the coming out of those lifts. Like, oh, so wonderful to see it again.
And it was great. We were like clouds at first, and then we were trees. What?
Yeah, that's right, Mac. We, you know, because trees are definitely a big part of the video, and that video was done by Gail Scott White, who was a faculty member in the media department over at George Mason University. And I think she gathered that footage from off of Braddock Road or something like that, to try to get that same feeling of sort of a rural-ish road, and the pace of the traffic. But yeah, and it definitely built up slowly with the trees coming in and then the cars and all that. By the way, Mac, Jessica says that you did the big lift of Mac, that you did all the work.
I helped a little bit, Jess, but I still, your power extends out.
Yeah, because Emily said that Jessica is a beast, and she is. She's always had the gun.
She always had the power. She does. She still does. Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah.
We lived with each other a whole lot during those years. We
Yes.
did a lot of lifting and partnering, and it was such wonderful connections.
I was saying to Alex that this is from a period in my life where I seem to recall that my job was just to run across the stage and pick someone up. And then run across the stage and pick someone else up. And this was my whole job for a while.
Your dance camel job. And Alex, I hope you don't mind if I'm calling you out on this, because I'm also calling myself out. But not in this piece, but speaking of all this lifting, there was a moment in the piece that we did at Millennial Stage where we have the old-fashioned, like, Little House on the Prairie calico dresses on. Right. I forget what that one was called. But there was a moment mid-lift where I had done so many lifts with both Mac and Alex that I was on Alex's shoulder while we were preparing the Millennial Stage. And I said, Alex, what comes next? I'm going to put you down, and then you lift me. And I'm like, okay. I just had like a frozen moment.
I remember having some of those moments too, Nicolle.
Oh, a lot.
Like, which lift is this? And I see someone's face coming at me. I'm like, oh, yeah. Okay. It's like a lot of connection, right? A lot of connections.
Yeah, and that's what's been so weird this whole last year with dancing and trying to work with people is, even when the few times we're able to get together, there's the element of non-touching and stuff, and it's very, very different. And I really miss that so much, being able to, manipulate movement by having people partner and all of that that comes about because of being able to touch other people. So, So just to let audience members know, if you want a better quality of any of these pieces, these are on Vimeo on demand. You can find them just by going to our webpage on the stream. The older pieces, obviously same title as the show, Vintage JFD. And you can find them there. You can view them for $3, or you can actually buy them and download them and keep them for yourself. So please take a look at that if you want to see a little bit better, higher quality video than I was able to deliver today. But it's great to be able to offer that to people. And it's so nice to be able to reach out to you all after all these years and to re-see some of these old photos and videos again. It's just been great. Just so that
we should all go to the Mexican restaurant and tell them it's our birthday.
Right.
Like the old days.
Like the old days, yeah.
And just to catch you up, Mac and Alex, I think with Nicolle and with Jen, we took a look at Escape Vietnam from approximately 2002, and that was some of the bumper clip had Stephanie's solo and parts of Escape Vietnam in that. And then with Stephanie and Amy LaBelle, we watched Clear Cut.
Yes.
from the Ridgeline project.
Oh, right. The tree stumps.
Yes, the tree stumps. Yeah.
It's funny, Jane, how we always had like a name that wasn't the name of the piece.
Yeah. Yeah, like
The
last
bamboo
time.
piece.
Yeah, or last time I couldn't remember the
Baby.
name Mountain, and then Stephanie was like, "It's the one with the ketchup and mustard costumes." I'm like, "Oh yeah." What was the name of the one in the Little House on the Prairie dresses?
Well, that I was trying to remember all of that too, because that was those photos that I just sent you all. I think the name of that whole project was Sand in My Shoes.
Yeah.
When it was
And
different pieces.
and it was
Time.
directed at 4 different areas in Virginia.
Yeah.
And so it
Crystal
was,
City, right, was one of them.
yeah, Crystal City, we had those great photos we did out in the
In the
street.
sidewalk. Yeah.
Yeah, in the crosswalk.
Right.
Still some of my favorite photos, and of course Ray Nywak, just a terrific photographer.
Mhm.
And then we had I can't exactly remember I don't think the names of each section were that, they haven't stayed with me that well, but the summer one, the one
Summer.
where you wore the red
Mhm.
and
The Hawaiian, some of the Hawaiian.
and the
print.
Hawaiian shirt.
Wasn't there one with a tent? Weren't we camping in one?
Yes,
We had
yes,
kids
that
on the
was the
stage,
mountain.
and we were chasing
That
after
was-
the kids.
That was
Okay.
the mountains one, and actually Hannah is in that one.
Yeah.
And she was about 10.
Oh my gosh.
And the reason I can tell that is that Hannah is going to be 30 next month.
Wow.
28 again.
That's unreal.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
we haven't gotten any older.
No.
No.
I remember flipping Hannah over my shoulder in those dances. Oh my goodness.
Oh,
Those pieces came from Sand in My Shoes, the Virginia piece.
yeah.
Wasn't that piece called Charlottesville? Was it?
I think it was.
Yeah, it was kind of just
That rings a
vaguely
bell.
named after the areas of
That's
the.
probably what we called it.
Oh,
Yeah. But I have to admit, and that's why I wrote on that one note, Stephanie, after you sent it out, an apology for making you guys wear those prairie dresses. Because I was like thinking, oh my gosh, these people were very nice. They were wearing those prairie dresses with.
Gingham coming back. It'll be back in.
It was kind of fun because you don't normally wear those to dance in because they're hard to dance in. So it was like a fun novelty experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I had actually forgotten about that piece. So seeing those photos, I was like, right, the dresses.
Right.
I was not in that one, but I remember it like as part of the series.
Yes.
Okay, well, I guess we have our next idea for the next vintage JFD show. We're talking about a totally different piece.
Did we perform that in Charlottesville? I remember a wild like New Year's night with you guys in Charlottesville.
Mm-hmm.
First
Do I
night.
say-
Yeah,
Is
that
that
was
right?
the JMU. That was first
It was
night, wherever
Harrisonburg.
JMU is.
Yeah, it was Harrisonburg. It was incredibly cold.
Oh, okay. It was
First night
incredibly-
Harrisonburg. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Good times. I had fun. I remember it differently from Alex. There was oh God! And it was like a weatherman. He was like emceeing everything. Am I making that up?
I remember.
Hot times in Harrison.
Jane, I think you've gotten us. We now need to get together on like a separate Zoom to just talk about some of this.
Right.
To reminisce. Yeah.
To
Well,
reminisce.
Dinwiddie! Oh God! That was totally off topic. You guys remember
Everybody-
Dinwiddie with the Civil War paintings out on walls and everything? No. Oh, okay.
No.
There were so many little bergs.
Oh yeah. Well, we have many more old show pieces to watch. So we'll try to get to those in the coming weeks, everybody who's tuning in. I guess we'll go ahead and maybe close out the show. Everybody, though, here who's here with me today, please hang on and we can chat a little bit more. But for those of you who are watching, thank you so much for tuning in. It is greatly appreciated. We are, as always, especially these days, doing a little fundraising. There's a fundraising day for Alexandria coming up, so you can find us there as well as on our own website. This year we've been doing a lot of live stream performances, which have all the same kind of qualities as today's performance had, which is internet thingies coming up. But it's been really great to at least be making new stuff, but also really taking the time to think back about some of these older pieces. And I have to admit, the highlight of my thinking back on these dances are the people who made them, who really, and that's you all, who really made these pieces come alive, because until you are in them, they are just ideas, and then you all come into the action and it becomes something. So as all I can say is I treasure, as Stephanie mentioned, every single moment and greatly appreciate being able to look back at this work again.
Yeah, so do I. Thank you.
Thank you for bringing us together.
Oh, yes, great. And I do think that Guapos would have room for us.
Yeah.
Guapos!
Margaritas.
Right.
Emily's asking, what year was JFD founded?
I actually had the papers done in 1997 in Arlington. We were at first based the mailing address was do you remember? Oh, maybe Alex and Nicolle might remember it, but we had to rehearse at Gunston Middle School.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That's where my audition was with Jen.
Yeah, Mac was in the company before I was.
Was
that was the first rehearsal I went to downstairs in the gym.
Jessica remembers. Was it a gym? It was a gym floor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then they took Arlington County took over the old WETA building and transformed it into the dance studios. And now that whole area is going through a lot of transformation of, they're redoing the ball fields across from the building. The Parks and Rec department that was in the front part of the building is moving out to a new facility. And Arlington County has plans to buy the building that was occupied by Inner Ear Recording Studio, and also sort of bring that into the arts mix. So there's a lot going on down there, and
cool.
It's a nice part of Arlington. I don't know. It's been kind of my dance home for a long time. So it's always interesting to see how the changes have affected the neighborhood, and Arlington is just building like crazy. So
lots of fun memories and changes too.
Yes. All right, everybody. So thanks again so much. I'll just put on a little bumper for everybody to take a look at as we go out, and look for the next Vintage JFD show. I can't wait to see. And I'll talk to you all in just a minute about what you want me to show next. And I'll see if I can find it. Okay.
Oh, just 98. Right. Oh my God, year after it started.